So with a brand new episode, we got a new set of weapons to talk about in Destiny 2, and to my surprise, I am really enjoying all of the new stuff Bungie has delivered so far in Act 1 of Revenant. Today's video will focus in on the Liturgy Double-Fire Grenade Launcher. Lots of good things to say here. I'm also sure that you already know this, but grenade launchers, as of now, are a must use this episode. Artifact mods like Concussive Reload, which is just a Breach and Clear 2.0, make using all sorts of grenade launchers fun at the moment, and on top of that, Rapid Impacts makes reloading these bad boys all the more easier, especially for a weapon like Liturgy, which does not have something like auto-loading holster in its perk pool. Now, before we go into the details about the PvE God Roll and other stuff, just want to get a few things out the way. Our latest video on Destiny covers a Stasis Titan build. This build pairs great with this weapon, so if you are in need of a Stasis Titan build to use with Liturgy, check it out after this video. Also, if you guys want more content from me, please consider hitting that subscribe button and bell to be notified for when I do drop more content. Tons of stuff to talk about with Destiny, and things are really moving over here on the channel. So with that out the way, let's talk about this grenade launcher. Now, the first part I want to talk about with this GL is the archetype. There isn't many of them, which is crazy in my opinion, but I guess is understandable. When compared to the damage of a lightweight frame grenade launcher, double fires are roughly 37% more damage, which in my opinion is pretty damn awesome for a special weapon, especially a special GL. I will admit the double fire aspect of it may be a little bit tedious and not as smooth, but it is a little workaround that honestly doesn't take much use to get around. Now, when it comes to accessibility, Liturgy will be very easy to farm, especially when compared to the other options out there. You can use a tonic focus on this GL and get a ton of them, whereas the other two, Windstyle is a Nightfall weapon and Wilder Flight is a Spire of the Watcher dungeon drop. So as you already can tell, this Stasis Double-Fire Grenade Launcher is very easy to obtain compared to the other two options. So with that out the way, let's jump in and talk about all the perks to get an understanding of what we are working with. So here on screen is all the perks that can roll with this weapon. Now, we won't show off barrels, but you'll see which one you preferably want in the God Roll, and we'll be labeling it so you guys can follow along with me. Now, all the way to the right, we have a brand new origin trait, Dark Ether Reaper. Final blows with this weapon periodically spawn Dark Ether charges. Charges can be detonated early with weapons fire or by coming into contact with them. Doing so refills this weapon from reserves. I'll be honest, on this archetype, this origin trait falls a little bit flat. Nothing too crazy here. Could it be useful? Sure. But I feel like there are other weapons that really get more out of this origin trait. Now, sliding over to column 4, we have Chill Clip, Harmony, Lead for Gold, Swashbuckler, Chain Reaction, Desperate Measures, and One for All. Over in column 3, we have Rhyme Stealer, Strategist, Perpetual Motion, Quick Draw, Envious Arsenal, Slideways, and Surplus. And for our magazines, we have Disorienting Grenades, we have Proximity Grenades, Spike Grenades, High Velocity Rounds, and Implosion Rounds. So with all the perks out the way, let's jump in and talk about the God Roll. And I'll be honest, there are going to be two here on screen, and we'll explain what's going on when it comes to first and second God Roll. So the first one you guys see to the left, Volatile Launch, Spike Grenades, Slideways, and Chill Clip. And then universally, a Velocity Masterwork if you really can. Now in God Roll 2, things don't really change here except for Spike Grenades become Disorienting Grenades. So just keep that in mind in terms of it's going to have a different playstyle. Now, the first God Roll is to keep the increased damage in mind of this archetype. The second God Roll is going to be one that really is oppressive with add control, but by doing so, you will take a blast radius hit and a 25% decrease damage to the overall archetype. Again, it's still going to be performing theoretically better than lightweight frames on the damage standpoint, but again, not as juiced of a damage difference. So with that being said, I recommend you use that information to decide which one you want. Personally, the first one is going to be something I want to have. When it comes to champions and things like that, utilizing Chill Clip is really good. We'll have some testing to show you guys in terms of how Chill Clip works. It did get nerfed and buffed in a weird way, but we'll showcase that pretty soon. But the first one, Spike Grenades, utilizing that damage, Chill Clip, things like that, really good. If you guys want something a little bit more blinding and ad control, Disorienting is perfectly fine. You're just missing out on that damage. So with Chill Clip, it is very important to understand how this works. Now, before, in a different time, this perk was insane. Riptide Chill Clip was absurd, and they nerfed it, but also buffed it to retune it to fit different archetypes because it did take a substantial nerf. And theoretically, if you're not using a Riptide, it's going to take 2 shots to freeze a champion with Kill Clip. Now, in theory, you would think that a double-fire twin hitting grenade launcher would count as 2 shots to freeze, and then therefore needing just 1 shot to freeze a champion. That is not the case. You will need to use 2 shots of this grenade launcher. Again, a very important fact to understanding chill clip and things like that. It's still very useful and very much worth it, but again, just keep that in mind when it comes to using chill clip on a grenade launcher. It is great. Rapid impacts makes it even better and things like that, but it's important to mention because I was hoping for a 1-shot GL chill clip, but that isn't the case here. Another thing to mention about kind of your God Rolls is if you guys have completed the Act 1 narrative, then you technically should have a curated role that is incredible. Just not something I would call a God Roll. The main selection of perks you can pretty much have is Confined Launch, High Velocity Rounds, Rhyme Stealer, Chill Clip with a Velocity Masterwork. Now, Rhyme Stealer is a new perk, and it reads like this: destroying a stasis crystal or defeating a frozen target with this weapon grants you Frost Armor. This works great with that build video I mentioned earlier, but I don't know if I'm totally on board with something like this on this GL. With other weapons, I'm all for it. Seems a little bit on the not really worth it being a God Roll for this weapon specifically, but that's just my personal take. But in general, I think it's safe to say you should get this weapon as soon as possible. It's going to be one of those that really stands out this episode. Now, honestly, I feel like there is a lot of those this season with that level of potential, but again, just my personal feeling out of right now, this grenade launcher is one you really want as soon as possible. But in all, that's pretty much all I gotta say on this one. If you guys enjoyed the content, please consider dropping this video a like. Helps out the video a ton. If you guys want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified when I do drop more content. And of course, if you guys have anything to say on this video, on the weapon itself, your thoughts, your opinions, maybe something I'm missing, drop a comment down below. We can have a conversation about it. But until then, that's all I gotta say for this one. Hope you guys have a good one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.